Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are picking right back up on this build that I am doing for the bunk beds in the boys room. If you saw the last video on my channel, then you got to see how I got the frame installed for the bunk beds. So if you have not seen that video on my channel, definitely go and check it out. You'll get to see how we got to this point with the bed, and now we're just going to pick back up on the drawers and get the drawers installed for the bottom of the bunks. So for making the drawers, I wanted this task to be as least complicated as possible. So I went and purchased pre-cut smaller sheets of plywood at Lowe's. The size that I purchased were 12 by 12 little boxes. This way I could just cut them down only a few more inches to get the drawer size that I actually needed. I figured this was probably the best route for me to go, as to eliminate trying to cut up bigger sheets of plywood. So my plan for assembly of my drawers were to go ahead after pre-cutting them was to dry fit them in place like I have here. I actually had already installed the drawer slides, which that was a process of itself. So before I could attach the drawer slides, I of course had to build a frame under the bottom bunk bed for the drawers, which that definitely gave me a little run for my money, because the frame is all custom built in a sense. I had to get the math just right so that the frame would equal the amount of drawers that I wanted. But once I installed it, I went ahead and I installed the drawer slides that you see here. The particular drawers slides that I used mount to the bottom of the drawer. So it made it a little easy as far as my plan for building these drawers. I figured if I could first figure out just exactly how wide the bottom of the drawer would need to be, which I could do so by using these drawer slides, I could then build the box around that bottom piece. So that's what I did here, and I'll kind of break it down a little more in depth so it's easier to understand. So if you look in this frame here, I already have the pieces of plywood laying flat on the drawer slides. These are the pieces that I've pre-cut and figured out exactly how wide they needed to be in order to build my drawers. And so this is what I used to get started. Once I knew how big these sheets of plywood needed to be, all I'm going to do now is to square it off, close it up by building the box around it. I'm using liquid nails as the adhesive to hold the drawers together. Honestly, I probably would have preferred to use just wood glue, but I couldn't find it at the time. So I used liquid nails, and I am going to, with my brad nailer, just secure it in place until the glue dries. So as you can see, for the assembly of these drawers, I actually propped the plywood up against the bed, and I'm trying to use the clamp to just hold it in place until I can get the pieces stuck together. So yeah, this is when creative minds have to work. So I just repeated this process for all of the drawers. Again, just using liquid nails to adhere it all together, and then the brad nails just to hold it in place until the glue sets. And honestly, I felt like this was the easiest way that I could have created the drawers, this being my second attempt at even ever trying them. Once I had the drawers done, it was time to start working on the trim. It was really important to me to work on the trim of the drawers as well as the face frame all at the same time. That way I could give my drawers a nice clean inset finish. I wanted my drawers to be able to collapse within the face frame anytime they closed. So I did the trim all at the same time just to make sure everything was lining up perfectly. I used 1x3s to finish off the trim that would go around the drawers and the face frame. And as you can see from this clip here, I was just pre-measuring to make sure that I had the drawers far back enough so that they would be inset. So I didn't even screw the drawer slides on until I knew that they were exactly where I wanted them to be.
So give me all you got right now. I know I'm yours, baby. So come give me love. You know you're mine, baby. So come give me love. I never felt nothing quite like this. I get a high every time we kiss. Can't get enough, baby. So come give me love. All of your love, I can't fake it. When I'm with you, my legs go weak. Yeah. Can you hear it? I think my heart just skipped a beat. Yeah. This feeling is getting so strong. Love me till the morning, love me all night long. There's something special about you. You're the one that I want.
So for the trim around the drawers, I'm using 1x3s and I am creating 45-degree angles on the 1x3s. That way it actually creates a frame around each drawer. I always like to cut one piece first and just test it, dry fit it to see if it'll go in place. And as you can see, I'm testing this piece at the top and bottom. That'll just help me know that when I make my second cut, I can use my first cut as a template. That way they come out the exact same. So to figure out how long I needed the sides to be, as you can see, I nailed the top piece in place, and then I used the measuring tape just to see how long the 2 points would be, and that's how I was able to figure out how long my side cuts should be. And it's always good practice just to dry fit all of the pieces into place just to make sure that they'll work. And once I realized that these pieces would work, I go ahead and apply some glue. And then just like I did when assembling the drawers, I'm going to use a brad nailer to actually attach it until the glue sets. So assembling the trim around the first drawer actually taught me a good lesson. So I actually did the trim around the first drawer a couple of times. On the second and third drawers, I realized that I needed like a hairline gap around the trim. It actually just made the drawer slide in and out easier. So as you can see on this screen here, I assembled it a tad bit different. I used the clamp to kind of play with the pieces first. And at the very bottom, if you notice, it's actually a magazine of brad nails. I actually put that at the bottom so the trim doesn't sit so flush. That way it just gave me a little gap around the frame. Again, just to help the drawer slide in and out without rubbing against the trim. And I'm sure I could have achieved this gap too by using a couple of playing cards, but the magazine brad nails was what I had closest to me at the time, so that's what I used. And here are the drawers, you guys. They came out absolutely wonderful. Of course, I still have to fill in the nail holes and do some wood putty and caulk, But you guys, these drawers look so good and I feel so impressed with myself. And I'm sure you guys have noticed the stairs that are sitting now beside the bunk. So you have guessed right if you are wondering if the next upload will be about the stair install, and it most definitely will. So be sure to stick around for that upload. And you guys, give this video a thumbs up, leave me some questions and comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Your eyes tell me that you don't wanna leave just yet. No, my eyes agree. It's almost like when we first met. Oh, I don't care, it's getting too late.